For more on Myanmar's warming relations with the rest of the world, I'm joined by Michael Vatikiotis. He is the Regional Director of the Centre for Humanitarian Dialogue and the former editor of the Far Eastern Economic Review magazine. Michael, thank you very much for being with us today. Now, this visit is part of Myanmar's coming out, shall we say, onto the international stage, and Australia is there to warmly welcome Myanmar. But what exactly do both sides get from stronger relations?
Well, I think it's very important to point out, as you mentioned earlier, that one of the things that has been achieved on this visit is a sort of a gentle opening of an engagement with the Myanmar military, which is very, very important, because for all the reforms that we've seen so far, for all the progress that has been made on the peace process with the ethnic nationalities, one thing that has been missing is engagement with the Myanmar military. And I think for Australia to actually forge forward with this is very significant, as Indonesia has done in the past with Indonesia over the years, is to demonstrate that it is possible to engage with a conservative, withdrawn, rather reclusive military and to tease them out and to sort of engage, have a military attaché, invite military officers down to Australia for training. This is going to be very important for the future.
Well, Prime Minister Gillard did praise Myanmar's democratic reforms, but on your blog, you're very cautious about the progress that's been made in Myanmar, aren't you? I'll just quote you something you said. It is important to bear in mind the rather harsh environment for democracy in Southeast Asia. What do you mean by that?
Well, I think we've seen around the region that, it's very, very hard. It's taken Indonesia 15 years since 1998 to reach a point where, we can say that democracy has matured. But at the same time, there are concerns for democracy in Indonesia still. I think we look at Thailand, where after the mid-1990s, where there was a period of liberalization of all sorts of areas of politics and the economy, we're now looking at a situation where the media is constrained, where there is deep, deep concern about democracy in Thailand. So I don't think it's a given that democracy is so easy to establish through a process of reform, and there are going to be conservative backlashes, as we saw in Thailand in 2006, where there was a military coup. So I think we should just be very cautious and lower our expectations.
Well, while Australia may be very eager to tap into Myanmar's mining industry, and Myanmar very eager to get Australia's verification on the international stage, there is still that issue of Myanmar's human rights record, isn't there? How much influence do you think Canberra will have over this particular issue?
I think that we're going to see a very pragmatic way forward for Australian-Myanmar relations. Australia is not the sort of country to get on a high horse and govern its relations on the basis of a human rights record, even though it will press those issues. Australia is a very pragmatic player in the region. It tends to be the country that, in a very quiet, subtle way, moves things forward through cooperation and engagement. I don't think you're going to see them engage very openly on that. I think one issue that's very critical for Australia is the situation in Rakhine State regarding the Rohingya people, because of course for Australia one of the major concerns is the outflow of people from Asia ending up or trying to end up on Australia's shores. And I think there's going to be considerable pressure on the Myanmar government to move forward with reconciliation in Rakhine State and also to address the very real issues of the identity of the Rohingya people.
Michael, thank you for speaking with us. Michael Vatikiotis there from the Centre for Humanitarian Dialogue.